Hello and welcome back. One of the hardest things I remember going through as a junior dev was, asking questions. Because insecurity can be hard to overcome and you just don't want to sound dumb, right? And there are like two situations where this matters. First situation is, imagine a group call, a group meeting, and you have this feeling in your head that you should really ask about this tiny thing, but it seems so obvious that you don't. And believe me, quite often it's not that straightforward, and quite often everyone is feeling like that, and no one really wants to ask because no one wants to state the obvious or seem dumb. So just ask the damn question. And the other situation, which we will dive into today, is when you are, working with your colleagues and you need some help, but you are not sure, you don't want to annoy them, you don't want to take their time, and so on. So we will dive into, how to ask for help the right way. Stay with me. Truth is, you will always have a lot of questions, especially as a junior dev. But even later in your career, you quite often need help from your colleagues because everyone gets stuck from time to time. So it's good to know how to do that, as smooth as possible. Also, if you are working in a, international team as me, and English is not your native language, then there might be some, additional obstacles, and you might hesitate to really ask for help sometimes because you feel like you are clumsy in your explanation. It takes a lot of time, and you don't want to bother people in general. So, how to get out of this pickle? First, let's talk a little bit about like what is the wrong way to ask questions. And this can happen on so many levels, and it can be like in asynchronous communication, it can be in like direct chat. So, just out of my head, a few examples. You drop a vague message that something's not working into a team chat. Well, okay, but I guess everyone will kind of try to avoid it because it was really vague. Or you jump into the call with your colleague, and then you start going through, okay, I'm just trying this and it doesn't work, and colleague asks you, okay, so what's the error message, and you are like, yeah, oh, sorry, let me just try again, I didn't note it down, and it's dragging on and dragging on, and like disrespectful towards your colleagues' time, and in general a bad process, because if you are disrespectful for your colleagues' time, then this creates a bit of tension in between you, and this can be a root cause of a lot of your feelings and rightful feelings, maybe, that your colleagues will start like avoiding you or be a little bit hesitant to help, and so on. So let's talk how to do that the right way. What is the right way to ask your colleagues questions and to ask your colleagues for help? Before we actually get into like how to ask the right way, I think it's quite important to also talk about when to ask for help and when to start reaching out to your colleagues and doing all that. I myself have a general rule that if I'm stuck for an hour, it's time to start reaching out. You want to achieve that, sweet spot, that balance between trying enough for your own and avoiding being, stuck and losing time unnecessary. Because quite often, when you add the second pair of eyes into the mix, the problem you are stuck on for an hour can be solved in like 3 minutes. And your colleagues have different experience to you, so you need to find that balance for you. Maybe if you are more junior, you can try for a little bit longer, and then what matters is when you really reach out and you start asking for help, to be really specific. And I myself use a simple framework to be specific enough and to ask questions the right way. And the framework actually goes like this: first, try, then research, and then ask for help. So the try part we just talked about. You want to try to tackle the problem yourself, but tackle it from, different angles, try different things, and just put the effort in. Then the research part, you should, like most of the problems are already solved, right? So before bringing in a teammate, which is a really valuable resource, right? Try external help. So, Stack Overflow, Google the error messages, try ChatGPT or, any AI tool if you are allowed to do that in your company and in your code base. But it can be very easy to really use something like ChatGPT to also give you advice on general things. So like, okay, I'm using this version of Java and I see this error. It can find reasonable answers for you and just push you into the correct direction. And then when everything you tried yourself, so you researched, doesn't help, it's time to reach out to your teammate. But before that, what is really good to do is to create like a package. So basically, have screenshots of the errors, have a brief summary what you already tried and what you already researched, so that you can be as efficient as possible. And I guarantee you, your teammates will appreciate that, and it's respectful towards their time, and it's a really good practice for you also, because when you put this research package together and when you write things down and so on, it's really better for your learning and for your own development. So just to summarize, when you are stuck with some problem in your development efforts, just use this simple framework: try, research, ask. That way you will avoid asking too early and wasting everyone's time all the time, and you will also avoid wasting your time and efforts because you are stuck for so long. And that's all for today. Do you have some funny story about the time you asked your colleagues and didn't go as you expected? Share in the comments below. And if you like the video, as always, share, like, subscribe to the channel. See you next time with the next tip.